Her dad looked completely fine. That was the problem. Duke and Beau had been on his feet for 45 minutes, and Maya was 8 years old, and she knew something was wrong before she could say what it was. Tyler Weiss had managed type 1 diabetes for 19 years. He was diligent in the way people who have lived with the condition long enough to stop being afraid of it are diligent. Careful, methodical, occasionally overconfident. He wore a continuous glucose monitor on his upper left arm. He checked the readings. He had a protocol. He had managed 19 years without a serious incident at home, which is the kind of statistic that makes a person feel like the system is working. Duke and Beau were 4-year-old English Bulldogs, littermates, who had arrived in the house as 8-week-old puppies and grown into the particular shape of English Bulldogs who have been loved into maximum comfort. Stocky, heavy, jowled, inclined toward horizontal surfaces in proximity to people they considered theirs. They were not physically demonstrative dogs. They did not jump. They did not follow room to room. They had their spots, Duke on the left side of the sofa, Beau on the rug by the back door, and they stayed in them, which is why Saturday afternoon was unusual. Tyler was sitting in the armchair watching a game. He had eaten lunch 2 hours earlier. Levels normal at check. Maya was on the floor nearby working on a drawing. At approximately 2:15, Duke got up from the sofa, crossed the room, and lay down across Tyler's feet. Within 3 minutes, Beau had risen from the rug, crossed to the same chair, and positioned himself against Tyler's left leg, head resting heavily on his knee. Tyler didn't notice, or noticed but didn't process it as significant. His levels had been normal at the last check. He felt fine. He always felt fine until he didn't, and in 19 years he had learned the geography of that transition well enough to trust his own read on it. Maya noticed. She watched Duke and Beau stay on her father for 20 minutes, then 30, then 40. She said, "Dad, why are they both on you?" He looked down. Must be cold. She tried to move Duke at the 35-minute mark. She put her hands under his chest and lifted, and he settled back down the moment she released him and looked at her with the flat-faced, unyielding expression of an English bulldog who has made a decision. She tried Beau. Same result. Both dogs heavy and immovable on her father's legs and feet, making no sound, doing nothing that looked, to anyone who didn't know them, like anything other than two bulldogs resting in an unusual location. At the 40-minute mark, Tyler's CGM buzzed. He looked at it. No reading. Signal dropout, the sensor pad had lost connection. A known issue with the model. It happened occasionally. Resolved within a few minutes, usually. He set it aside. If you stay for stories about what animals sense before we do, you're in the right place. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Maya looked at the blank monitor and then at the dogs, who had not moved. She did not have the clinical vocabulary for what she was observing. She had 8 years of watching her father manage his condition, and 4 years of watching Duke and Beau exist in the world. And in that moment, something in the intersection of those two knowledges fired. She called her mother. Vera was 20 minutes away at her sister's house. Maya said, "Mom, both dogs are on Dad and they won't move, and his monitor stopped working." Vera said, "Give him juice, right now, from the cabinet. Do it while you're talking to me." Tyler said he was fine. He took the juice because Maya was already opening it and standing in front of him with it, and 8-year-olds in that posture are not easily redirected. He drank it. He said he was fine. His blood glucose was at 44 milligrams per deciliter when Vera got there with the glucometer backup. The CGM had been dropping for over an hour. The signal dropout had mastered for 40 minutes. Normal floor for safe function is 70. Has your dog ever done something that made no sense until it was the only thing that made sense? Tell us in the comments. These stories deserve to be heard. Dr. Marcus Osei, endocrinologist, reviewed the timeline in Tyler's next appointment. He said, "Your dogs were responding to isoprene and other hypoglycemia-related volatile compounds expressed through skin perspiration and breath. These compounds begin changing well before CGM registers a drop. They were detecting what the monitor was not providing." He looked at Tyler. "Your daughter called it before you felt it. The dogs called it before your daughter could name it." He paused. "That is 3 layers of detection, and the first 2 had no credentials. Every guardian deserves to be recognized, even the ones who never ask for anything in return. If stories like this matter to you, subscribe so you never miss the next one." Tyler now has a backup glucometer. Clipped to the underside of the armchair. The CGM model has been upgraded. He has never again dismissed Duke and Beau when both of them moved to him simultaneously, which has happened twice since Saturday and been confirmed. Both times by a glucometer reading that warranted attention. Maya is still 8. She does not fully understand hypoglycemia or isoprene or volatile organic compound detection. She understands Duke and Beau, and she understands her father, and she knows now what the intersection of those two knowledges looks like when it matters. The next story involves a Great Pyrenees and a 16-month-old girl who had found the front door handle at 2 in the morning. The dog was already there.